Spring is officially here, and Easter is less than 2 weeks away. So I thought, what better time than today to start layering in a few simple, subtle touches of Easter into my existing spring decor. But before we get into the decorating, I have one small project that I want to tackle here in the dining room that is going to tie really nicely in with all of the cozy spring details already in the space. This bench is one of the only new furniture pieces we've purchased for this home. I found it at Kirkland's shortly after we moved in about 2.5 years ago. I loved the idea of mixing up the seating in the dining room, and this bench was the perfect size to accompany my grandparents' trestle dining table and my parents' caned back dining chairs. However, the black color has been nagging at me as of late, and I've been itching to brighten it up a bit. So of course I went straight to my favorite blue-gray color right now, which is Templeton Gray by Benjamin Moore. This is the same color that I've used on the lower kitchen cabinets, so I think it's going to tie in really nicely and add just a little bit more of a pop of color in the dining room. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. My name is Karin, and creating a beautiful, cozy home for my little family of 4 is my love language. I love to take you guys along with me as I do DIY projects, both big and small, and of course decorate. When I started this channel a 1.5 years ago, I never could have imagined the blessing that it would be in my life. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you who took a chance on my small channel, and a creator who knew nothing about making videos and has been learning as she goes ever since. My ultimate goal is that you feel like a guest in our home every week, and that you'll want to stick around. I was scrolling through Pinterest the other day and I saw this adorable carrot and flower arrangement, and I knew immediately that I was going to try to duplicate it. So I picked up 3 bunches of carrots from the organic section of H-E-B because they had the greenery still attached, and a couple bouquets of what I thought were daisies, but now I'm not so sure. But regardless, they're pretty white flowers and I think they're going to work perfectly for this arrangement. For the vessel, I'm using a thrifted hurricane that I picked up at Christmas time last year. So since the stems on these carrots were really long, and they would have dragged the table if I hadn't taken them off, I opted to remove them and add them back in separately. I'm hoping that as long as those stems are still in the water that they won't wilt right away. So we're just gonna have to see. I'm always looking for pretty ways to decorate seasonally without going out and buying tons of holiday specific decor. I don't have a lot of storage space to pack away these things and store them, so keeping them to a minimum is a must. So I think this arrangement is going to be just the perfect simple nod to Easter that I'm looking for this year. So I ran back to Michael's today and I picked up some more of these pretty white tulip bunches. They're now $1.49 a piece. Last week when I bought the ones for the ice bucket that I found at the antique store, they were $1.99. So they're about 50 cents cheaper this week. So I picked up 3 of these. I think these are really good staple items to have for spring. As much as I love to use fresh flowers and I try to use them as much as possible, there's absolutely nothing wrong with filling in some other spaces with really pretty faux florals. It's amazing how good they look these days. There's so many are really realistic and you almost can't tell the difference. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them into this teapot. This isn't my grandma's teapot, but this is another one that I found at an antique store last year that's very similar in style. It just has more of a patina to it. But I think these are gonna be so pretty inside of the teapot. and I'm just gonna put it back on the hutch where I had it before. I had had that really pretty reel arrangement in it for a few weeks, but sadly its time came to an end. So for now, I think these are gonna be a really pretty addition on the hutch. The Velveteen Rabbit was one of my favorite storybooks growing up, so I thought it would be sweet to add this little printable into a thrifted frame and incorporate it into our mantle display. I found the image on Google, and my print shop was gracious enough to not charge me to print it on cardstock, so it ended up costing me absolutely nothing. Incorporating nods to classic books or stories into your holiday decor is just another subtle way that you can decorate for the season in a way that is simple but yet so incredibly meaningful. So I don't tend to buy a ton of seasonal specific decor just because Christmas takes up enough storage space up in our attic, and that is precious real estate. So I like to try to keep a lot of the other holidays a little bit more simple when I decorate, using flowers and fruits and vegetables and ribbons, printables, things like that to decorate with, as opposed to just going out and spending tons of money at the stores finding cute decor. That's not to say that I don't buy any at all, because that wouldn't be true and I don't want to lead y'all astray, but I do tend to try to keep things to a minimum. But so I was going through the stash of Easter decor that I had, and I realized I didn't actually have really any cute bunnies. I had some like wooden silhouette looking bunnies that they didn't look realistic. They were just sort of carved out the shape of a bunny. But I didn't have anything that was actually like a realistic size or a realistic depiction so much of a bunny, if that makes sense. Anyhow, so I found this at Hobby Lobby. It was $20.99, which is steep in my opinion, but it was 40% off. So I think it ended up being about $12 or $13, give or take. But I thought it was so cute, and I immediately knew exactly where I wanted to put it. I thought it would be precious sitting back behind the ivy. So like the ivy is kind of peeking out in front of it, or he's peeking out behind it. I guess that makes more sense. Anyhow, I thought he was just adorable, and he's not going to take up much room to store. I've got one box that has Easter stuff in it. I'm not really using any of it this year, honestly. But anyways, he'll fit perfectly inside of that box, and in the meantime, he can hang out on the mantle. Okay guys, that's it for this week's video. I can't thank you guys enough for your support week after week. This channel is growing like a beautiful little weed and I couldn't be more proud of it. And that is because of all of you who tune in every week and support this channel. You comment and like, the subscriptions, all of it. Even if you're just watching in the background, thank you so much. This channel has been a dream come true for me, and today I just hope that I inspired you that holiday decorating doesn't have to cost you a fortune. It doesn't have to take up precious real estate in your storage spaces in your home. It can be just simple, sweet little touches like some flowers or some vegetables like the carrot arrangement that we did today, or ribbon or a couple of printables. Things like that. It doesn't have to take a lot to give your home that cozy seasonal feeling that you want during the holidays that you celebrate. So anyhow guys, thank you so much again for watching. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here, and I will see y'all next week. Bye now.